So the New England Patriots have officially wrapped up day 2 of the 2025 NFL Draft. Guys, we have made recaps on every single player, every single move that they have made so far via live streams. Every single time they select a prospect, right away we hop on to break down what we know about the guy and give our initial reaction and analysis. We did Will Campbell in round 1, Travion Henderson today in round 2. We also got to Kyle Williams in round 3. And now today, we are talking about offensive lineman Jared Wilson being drafted by the New England Patriots here with their final third-round pick after they traded down a couple of times. Just to recap that real quick, Patriots traded down twice. They traded down 10 spots once, then they traded down another 10 spots. And I just want to recap the trades that ultimately happened here in order to get the Patriots to where they were to drafting Jared Wilson. So originally, they had the 77th overall pick. Then the Patriots, so maybe they trade down a little under 10 spots, but they traded down to 85 with the Carolina Panthers and picked up pick 146. So they picked up an extra 5th-round pick that they'll utilize tomorrow. Then they traded down with the Kansas City Chiefs. They traded from 85 to 95 and got a next year's 4th-round pick. And then they stayed pat there at 95 and took offensive lineman Jared Wilson. But to join me, as always, I got my boy Rob from House Call to break down who this is. What does he bring? Is he going to be a center or is he going to play guard for the New England Patriots? So let's go ahead and let's bring on in Rob. Rob, your initial thoughts, your initial reactions on this. Love the PJs, by the way, man. You're looking absolutely stellar.
Yes, I'm in my Challenger right now. I'm like
absolutely stellar, Rob. Don't even worry about it. What were your initial thoughts on Jared Wilson?
Oh, I mean, the guy has a 9.98 RAS score. The guy is a freak of a nature. The guy is also the best center in the draft. Can I just say that Mike Vrabel and Ryan Cowden, I don't know how I feel about Elliott Wolf yet. I'm not going to give him too much credit yet, but they have cooked in this draft. We have addressed so many positions. I don't know if he starts right away because I don't know what they do with Garrett Bradbury, but I think maybe they may get a competition just for the sake of just making a competition. But this kid's going to be the starting center. So we replaced David Andrews with basically David Andrews. That's how I see it. I think he's going to be the center. He's going to be the center of the future, man. I really do think he's going to be special. His measurables are off the charts. Like the guy, I believe he ran a 4.49 40. Like he's just a freak of nature.
Now, obviously, with their pick, were you fine with them going Jared Wilson, or would you have preferred with them to go with somebody like off the edge with a Jack Sawyer? I know behind the scenes, me and you were talking about that. Me and you thought that's where they were going to go, but ultimately they pivot here. By the way, he did fall to tomorrow, so Jack Sawyer's still on the board.
I mean, there was really no wrong pick. If it was either Xavier Watts, Jack Sawyer or Jared Wilson. I mean, these are literally the 3 picks that me and you were talking about, that if it was any one of those 3, it's not a loss. And Jack Sawyer is dropped. And if I'm not mistaken, we have pick 106. So we're going to be up and coming into the next part of the draft. So, and looking on this roster, man, there's not many holes anymore. Maybe you go get tight end depth, but like it definitely, like I love the pick. I'm ecstatic about the pick. I'm just hoping somehow we can get Jack Sawyer, and then it's just it's just a steal from that point on. Like this is just a home run.
Yeah, and shout out to Evan Lazar for this tweet, by the way. But he tweets out the RAS score there, just basically tells you how athletic a player is testing at the combine.
That is not the RAS score I saw.
Really? Oh, this is the RAS score that Evan Lazar dropped, St. Patriots 3rd-round pick. Jared Wilson posted a 9.84 RAS at the NFL Combine. Very athletic player, still also only 21 years old. So you can see his measurables. You can see some of his numbers overall here. 32-inch arms, but he plays on the interior, so that doesn't necessarily matter. 34 starts at Georgia, 0 sacks allowed here this past season in 2024, an 89.7 PFF pass blocking grade, and top 5 amongst 2025 interior offensive line prospects. He's 6'3", 305 pounds. In fact, actually, I got to go back. I said top 3 in terms of interior O-lineman. He's top 3 amongst offensive lineman, period. I don't want to misspeak on that.
It's a steal, bro. Like,
and he's 305.
What was the biggest thing going into this draft? There was so many things to address on the offensive line. Left guard may still work out. We might be good there because Elliot Wolf has said that he thought Leighton Robinson was not really set up for success. Maybe now, or they put too much on his plate. So maybe now with a whole offseason in City, so maybe he comes back. He's from his injury, and maybe he's healthy, and maybe he might be at the very worst, you get some depth at the left guard position. But then when you look at the rest of the positions on the offensive line, left tackle, we address that. We got Will Campbell, what he gave up 2 sacks in the SEC. And then you get another guy in SEC center with guard versatility as well. That I think, man, this guy's going to be special at the next level. He's a very, very, yes, he doesn't quite have the size, but the measurables are there in terms of like how fast he is and his strength. And I don't know. The RS score I saw was a 9.98. I guess it was by Kent Lee Platt, I think it was, but maybe it was updated because of the combine. Maybe they gave a more updated version.
Interesting. Yeah. And the thing, too, about Jared Wilson, according to PFF, they had him as the #1 player in the draft at his respective position. So me and Rob, literally, when we're talking about where do we think these players are going to go with the next pick, me and Rob, when it comes to the Patriots, we're literally saying they're going BPA. They're telling us exactly, or they told us exactly what they're going to do in this draft. And it's exactly what they're doing. They're going best player available based on what the team needs. And that is exactly what they should have been doing for years. When you draft players not based off of their athleticism or based off their actual play, or not even going based off of value or best player available, but doing what Bill Belichick did and being like, oh, N'Keal Harry, yeah, like I'm going to take you in the first round, although you're not a first round prospect, because I liked the way you interviewed. I feel very confident with how the Patriots draft is going so far. They wanted
It's an
to
A
continue to
plus.
address the trenches. They continue to address the trenches with this pick. They went best player available and, in fact, got the best player at his respective position. You know, he's only 21 years old, like I said, so there's a lot of time for him to develop. He also ranked in the 97th percentile in PFF's game athleticism metric score over the last 2 seasons. This is what PFF had to say about him. They said, and I quote, Wilson may be just a one-year starter, but he has the movement skills to be a starting center in the NFL if he can continue to improve his IQ and anticipation with more snaps. The other thing that I love about this too is that it fits the system. It fits the zone system that the Patriots are going to run with Josh McDaniels. I know I've been talking about that all day long, but it's important to get guys that make sense in your defensive and offensive systems. He was much better in zone blocking than he was in gap, and we know that that is exactly what the Patriots are going to run. With this move, too, it's really interesting because I wonder what the exact plan is for him. And I'm sure that, you know, there's going to be interviews
I
out there, Patriots.com, talking about what he's going to be, but he mainly played center, obviously at Georgia. But he also played 2 snaps at left guard in 2023, 8 snaps at left guard in 2022. He played 59 snaps at right guard in 2022. He played 18 snaps at right guard in 2023. So this is a guy that has experience all over the interior of the offensive line.
Man, I look Garver. He's got a lot of versatility. I think man, if he was drafted in the third, I think he's going to be the center of the future. That's just me going out on a limb. I think he's pretty damn good. Um, it just kind of just depends how training camp goes. They don't need to rush him in there. You got a guy that in Bradbury that he's not great, but he's going to be a stopgap. So at least there's no pressure on this kid to perform immediately.
Yeah, I wonder too, because you got Garrett Bradbury in the building. He's obviously a veteran. He's a guy who, you know, he can give you average play at best. He's not going to be anything special.
He's
I
not good
very much
against the
could see
pass.
he's not. I mean, Garrett Bradbury is much better against the run than he is the pass. And then you have somebody like Jared Wilson, who is actually a pretty damn good pass blocker. I'd say he's actually a better pass blocker than he is in terms of a run blocker. And what the Patriots are going to do is they're going to roll with the squad on the offensive line that is best for the team in terms of blocking for Drake Maye and keeping him upright. So I could see that being a competition, but I could also see them potentially cross-training Jared Wilson to say, hey, we're going to allow you to compete at center. We're going to allow you to compete at left guard, because up until this point, the Patriots don't have a starting left guard. It's still a massive question on who's going to play there. So maybe they say, you're only 21 years old. We're going to allow you to compete for center. We're going to allow you to compete at left guard. And maybe there is even a world in which Jared Wilson could be maybe the Patriots starting left guard. And I'm not reporting anything, but early on, initial thoughts, because of his cross-trained versatility, maybe there's a world in which if he wins out that left guard job, he's your starting left guard this season. You have Garrett Bradbury being your starting center for one season, and then you have Jared Wilson cross-training that center behind the scenes, and then you get your left guard next offseason if they can't get one now, and then Jared Wilson becomes your starter moving forward. Overall, I don't expect this to be a right guard long-term. I don't expect this to be a left guard long-term. I do think that Jared Wilson is going to be the future at center for the New England Patriots when it all comes down to it, especially at the fact that they surprisingly released David Andrews earlier this offseason.
Look, positional versatility, and I think what I like about this is because of drafting Will Campbell, we were able to do this in the first place. We were able to go for the preceding picks moving from that point on. And you were right. He's been banging the table for Will Campbell for the longest time, and it happened, and look what happened. We were able to get the people that were the best players available. I think that with one thing about Josh McDaniels' offense, and you could vouch on this, he likes positional versatility. You cannot be a one-trick pony in a Josh McDaniels offense and expect to be someone that sticks around. So being that he has that positional versatility, whether it be left guard, right guard, wherever it may be, he's gonna get play time. Where he will be, I mean, I personally think he's going to be eventually the starting center. But like I said, there's no rush at this point because City So, before he got injured, I believe he could have been the starting left guard. At worst, he's going to get snaps all across the board, and then you have depth because it's not just the fact that we needed starters. We also needed depth across the board, and we lacked that a ton. And now with Jared Wilson being on the roster, at least is a sigh of relief that you have someone. If someone goes down, you have someone that can possibly fill that role.
Yeah, and another good value pick by the Patriots, too. Like, I'm genuinely trying to think right now, Rob. I'm trying to think, okay, what is one pick the Patriots made in which they reached, right? The value's not good. And I don't see it. It's not there. You got Will Campbell at number 4, the best offensive lineman in the class. Then you got Travion Henderson, who had hype to go back end of the first round, who you stayed at your pick in the second round at 38 and got him. Then you have Kyle Williams, who was projected to go in the range that they took him. And now you get the best center in the draft.
Yeah, I don't see a reach at all. I mean, you may be able to make a case for Kyle Williams, but you've seen how the wide receiver position was becoming pretty damn anemic after Kyle Williams and Jalen Noel kind of drops off a cliff. It drops off steep. It becomes pretty bad. Maybe with Jalen Royals, but look, when you look at Kyle Williams and the way when we drafted him, Kyle Williams. I know this is kind of not related to what we're doing here, but Steve Smith Sr. said that he basically reminded him of himself. So what we've been able to do so far in this draft, it's at least an A- for me with this draft. I think we've knocked it out of the park across the board, and I'm excited about what's going to happen moving forward because this is just. I was saying Jarrett Wilson when we were behind the scenes. It's either Xavier Watts, Jack Sawyer, or Jared Wilson. And I kind of threw Jared Wilson out there just because I don't believe that teams really generally draft center in the third round. But at some point, you're gonna have to address that, and I don't think Garrett Bradbury is the future. So I'm happy we're able to nail that before another team would have scooped in and picked him up.
Yeah, I agree. A little bit more about him before we log off here. He was a 3-star recruit in the 2022 class. We already know how athletic is. I feel like I don't need to mention anything about that. We kind of understood that with the RAS score, but he missed 2 games during the 2024 season due to a lower leg injury, 33 career appearances with 12 total starts at center, and he trained to prepare for the NFL Combine under Duke Manyweather, one of the many O-line masterminds who also Will Campbell also studied under him. So, they kind of studied and trained for the Combine and the NFL draft under the same people, as interesting as that is. But Rob, any last thoughts on this edition?
I mean, I love it a lot. Just hopefully we get I don't know if Xavier Watts is still on the board, either him or Jack Sawyer tomorrow.
Yeah, I mean, look, Mike Vrabel said a lot of things. I think I've touched a lot on it, but one of the first things he told us when he became the head coach of the New England
BPA.
Patriots was, I'm not even just BPA. Like, yeah, he said that the philosophy of this draft, they're going to change it. They're going to go best player available. But he also said, my main focus this offseason is going to be in the trenches, whether it was in free agency addressing the defensive line, whether it's now been in the draft addressing the offensive line. Mike Vrabel, when he tells you what he's going to do and he says something, you better damn believe that that is exactly what Mike Vrabel is going to do. And it's very nice having a head coach here who, when he says something, you know he's going to do it, right? There's no smoke. He's not gassing anything up. He's being completely honest. And anybody that doesn't like the addition of Will Campbell or Jared Wilson, as I've said several times over the last few months, all offensive production starts in the trenches. The second most important thing in football, and this is said by head coaches, this is said by players, this is said by
look at the Eagles.
Analysts, league executives. The Eagles are a beautiful example. You need to have good trenches, elite trenches. If you are going to go to Super Bowls, you're going to compete for championships. If the Patriots are going to become a playoff team, and that is what they've addressed this offseason for the first time in years, I actually feel confident about where this offensive line is going, which makes me feel confident about where this running attack is going to go offensively, where this passing attack is going to go offensively. By upgrading the offensive line, every single piece on offense, every single player now gets just a little bit more productive.
And not even just that, you have Kyle Williams, who's a field stretcher, so you can't load the box. You got Travion Henderson, who is a home run hitter whenever he touches the football. So it's gonna then that's gonna improve the offensive line because of those two things. Look, we literally can go out there. One of the biggest things that Mike Vrabel hinted to is that he wanted to be able to field a team week one. I think they more than did that. I think that we have a starting offensive line. I think the biggest thing that also that we can grab from this is you got a quarterback that's going to be protected. We've seen what happened in the past when albeit Mac Jones is not a really talented quarterback, but who knows? Who knows what he could have panned out to be if he would have had a little bit more time to throw the football. And we've seen what happens when you don't give a quarterback time. The internal clock gets sped up. And now that Drake Maye, you only had to deal with that for 1 year. So there's no PTSD there. So now he's going to go into next season. His offensive line is going to be really solid. He's going to get time to throw the football, and he's going to be able to operate in a system with Josh McDaniels where he doesn't feel the need to get the ball out within 2.5 seconds.
Hey, man, shout out to McGoat who says, just bought some merch, PG, man. Sometimes I forget that I have merch, man. I feel like I don't push it enough. But hey, guys, shout out to McGoat. McGoat, send me something on Instagram, Twitter, email. Email me something of you and your merch, man. I got to say, but hey, guys, if you want some Patriots Global merch, it's always linked in the description box below. If you guys want to check it out. I always work on all the designs myself. I need to update some things. I need to get some like cooler Patriots Global, like professional designs made. But hey, we got some Patriots Global merch link below if you guys want to get some. Shout out to my boy McGoat for repping the channel. But man, oh man, it is going to be just day and night, a day and night difference with this offensive line from what it was last year compared to what it's going to be this year. Patriots having a bottom 3 offensive line in the NFL over the last 2 years, now looking like they can have definitely one of the better ones. You upgraded at right tackle. You don't got DeMontre Jacobs anymore. You're upgrading at center.
It's
David
really
Andrews
solid.
got inconsistent. You're upgrading at left tackle over Vidarian Lowe. You got Michael Onwenu playing back at his original position where he plays the best. The real only question that is left is what is going to happen at left guard. And if they can figure that out, I feel confident about where this team is moving forward.
And they may not have to really put pressure on that, solving that, because the opposite players aside the left guard are pretty much addressed. My only concern, and if I'm being realistic, is the depth behind Will Campbell. That's my concern, because that is very scary. If he goes down, and knock on wood, we don't got shit behind him. So maybe you go grab a developmental left tackle and in the end later rounds.
Now, is there anybody that's left on the board at the top of your head that you can think of that you would like the Patriots to target heading into tomorrow, knowing that they have this philosophy of best player available?
Man, it's Jack Sawyer. It really is. I don't know any other answer because you still could use an edge. And I think that, like, if we get Jack Sawyer, he just it just screams. It screams Mike Vrabel, that pick. But the fact of the matter is, what do we not know about this pick? Because Jack Campbell was regarded as someone that could possibly go in the first round, and now we're going into day 3, and he still hasn't been drafted yet. What is happening behind the scenes as to why this guy's dropping?
Yeah, I definitely agree that Jack Sawyer is my guy, and it sounds like he's every Patriots fan's guy heading into round 4 tomorrow. By the way, the Patriots have one of the first picks in the draft tomorrow.
106, right?
Yeah. So they have 106, and it starts at... Oh, wait, hold up. I'm going best player available. That's why I was scrolling down so much. It starts at 103. The Patriots have pick 106.
Who's in front of us?
So in front of us, we have the Titans, the Jags, and the Giants. And then it's the Patriots at 106.
The Giants don't need him. You said the Titans?
The Titans and the Jags.
I can see I can see them grabbing him. And you said the Jags?
Yeah, there's always a potential trade up too.
Yeah, I mean, it's either the Jags or the Titans. I don't see the Giants front seven's nasty.
I think it would make a ton of sense to go with Jack Sawyer just because of his connections back to Ohio State. I think that Mike Vrabel loves his style of play too, but we know that they love going best player available. And if they're going best player available, technically Jack Sawyer is not even the best edge rusher still on the board, right? You got Braden Swinson ahead of him. You got Kyle Kennard ahead of him. You got Jared Ivey.
I wouldn't mind Kyle Kennard. I wouldn't mind Kyle Kennard. He's another guy I would go after.
Go off with Kyle Kennard. I definitely want Jack Sawyer more than all of those guys, but if they come out with a Kyle Kennard, I wouldn't be upset. Other than that, I mean, Chris Paul is still on the board. He's a dynamic linebacker, so I don't think they need help there, but who knows? If they're really going best player available, that would be really good value for them. And then after that, I mean, it's starting the 4th round, man. So I think at that point, you're kind of just taking shots on guys. Dorian Strawn at cornerback would be another guy that I'm watching. Baron Sorrell has been a guy that they've been heavily linked back to as more.
JJ Pegas. JJ Pegas, man. Maybe you want to throw him in at fullback and DT.
Benjamin Yorsek, the tight end out of Georgia, more of a 5th round projection.
Who's that one? What's that 460-pound freaking defensive tackle out of Florida? Why don't we go grab that guy? Grab that guy. You won't ever get past the interior of our D-line.
Dude, you think that's crazy? They should look at a Deion Walker, 6'6" interior defensive lineman who can also play on the edge. Crazy.
Yeah, I think that like this class is crazy at D-line, bro.
But you know, Rob, it's been good through 2 days. The first few picks, I believe we have 4 picks now that the Patriots have made.
You haven't given your grade yet, man. So far,
I haven't given my grade yet so far. Well, I would say
for a video guide,
it's probably an A. So far overall, it's an A, and that's
A
as far
minus.
as I'll go. After the draft, Rob and I will be back, and we are going to break down each single player, give our grades on each player, and then give our overall grade to this draft class. And then a year from now, we'll look back on our grades and regrade the draft class. In fact, I actually have to regrade last year's draft class. I haven't looked back at that, so I got to do that. But big shout out real quick to my boy. I'm going to make sure I say this right. Zenify with a $2 donation said, much love, been watching for years, man. Shout out to you. Really appreciate you for coming in, showing some love. I appreciate all you guys for coming in and showing some love. You guys have been killing it, tuning in and just showing some love to the content as of late. As always, guys, you know, I do everything by myself, so it means a lot when you guys show the love, you like the video, you share, you subscribe. It means the world to me. But as always, guys, I think that's going to wrap it up for today. Make sure you check out the other videos on the channel. We have broken down a video just like this one on each and every single prospect that the New England Patriots have taken. Make sure to leave a big like on your way out. If you're watching on Twitter, make sure to follow. And if you're watching on Twitter, make sure to hit the link in the bio to take you to YouTube and subscribe there so that you get notified every single time I post a video, a live stream, a short, a community post. Because you guys watching on Twitter, you only get notified when I go live. You don't get notified when I post any other type of content on the YouTube channel. And there's a lot of it. So, guys, logging off here from Patriots Global, I'm Colby. That is Rob. We appreciate you guys for watching. And, of course, go Pats.